Thank you. Not long ago, I was doing a seminar for 110 sales managers who supervised more than 1,000 salespeople doing millions of dollars worth of business per month and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of business per year. And I gave them this exercise. I said, I want you to take a moment and think of your very best salesperson. I want you to get a mental picture of the top performer in your office, and then I'll describe him or her to you. They laughed. Sure, you can't do that. You don't know even who they are. I said, now here, they are here, and the characteristics of your top person. And I went down and I gave them about 7 characteristics, one after another. Well, the first characteristics, people said. A second characteristic. Yeah, third characteristics. Fourth characteristics. Yeah, fifth characteristics. They were writing out 6, and then at the 7th characteristics, at the break, they came up. How do you know my top salesperson? I said, because they are all the same. All top salespeople are the same. I worked with top salespeople for 25 years. I've worked in rooms where every single salesperson on straight commission was making more than $250,000 a year, and most of them were making more than $1 million a year on straight commission. And I know that if you talk to them for any period of time, you find they have the same qualities and characteristics in common. Well, you are also top salespeople. You are members of what is called the top 10%. You're members of the elite, or what is once called the talented 10th. You're the members of the talented 10th because of what you do, not because of what you say, or wish, or hope, or intend. Because of what you do, and let me tell you the 3 reasons why, statistically speaking, you're in the top 10%. The first reason, of course, is that only the top 10% of salespeople watch videos like this or listen to audio tapes in their car. They realize that they have to be continually upgrading their skills. Only the top 10% of salespeople attend training courses and seminars. They realize that if they're not moving ahead, they're moving backwards. Only the top 10%, statistically speaking, read that 90% of all the self-help books and professional and personal development books in America are read by probably about 10% of the people last year in America. According to the statistics, 80% of American families did not buy or read a single book, and we're in the information age. We're in the knowledge age. We're in the age whereas if we're not moving ahead rapidly in terms of knowledge, we're actually falling back, and you're in the top 10% because only the top 10% do these things. And why do I know that? It's because you're here. If the very fact that you're here means you're in the top 10%, at least in your thinking, you may not be there in your income. At least in your thinking, you may not be there in your income yet, but you will be soon enough. As I say, in high jumping, first you throw your heart over the bar, and then your body will follow. First of all, You decide where you want to be in your mind by the things that you do every day, and sooner or later, your results will follow. I've been setting top salespeople for years, and I think that the 80-20 rule applies to salespeople in one specific area. Basically, what it means is that 80% of sales success is psychological, 20% of sales success is technical, 80% of sales success is the attitude, the personality, the temperament, the self-image, the way the person sees themselves and thinks about themselves. 20% is technical, it's product knowledge, it's particular sales skills, and so on. Unfortunately, most companies do only technical training, if they do any training at all. 70% of companies do no sales training of any kind. They give people a couple of brochures, a couple of business cards, and they send them out and they say good luck. That's sales training part. But with the psychological part, we know that the most important law that affects salespeople or anybody for that matter was discovered more than 3,000 years before Christ. It's called the law of correspondence. And the law of correspondence simply says that as within, so without. It says that your outer world is a reflection. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. It says it everywhere you go. There you are. Is it everywhere you go? It's almost like you're in a 360D mirror. Everywhere you go, everywhere you look, there you are. Your relationships, your health, your income, your attitudes, your personality, everything on the outside is determined. Everything on the outside is determined by what's going on in the inside. Now, this is a powerful law, and it's very important because of this. If you want to change any part of your life, you start by changing the way you think about yourself on the inside. From the time immemorial, going back to Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, the greatest philosophers of all time have concluded that as a man thinketh, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he is that your life is what your thoughts make. It is that you become what you think about most of the time. So what we have found with top salespeople and millions of dollars and thousands of hours have been spent researching and interviewing and analyzing and surveying top salespeople. You know what? We find that top salespeople have certain qualities and characteristics that are the same, and you can take one of these people from one side of the country and put them into another side of the country, and they get the same top sales results. You can change industries, change territories, change products and services, change economies, and those top salespeople are like bones. You throw them down and they bounce right back into the top 10% of their field. So what I've done and what I've done over the years is I've interviewed sales people and I've read into the interviews, the studies of salespeople, and I found that there are three critical self-image differences that the top 10% have, and by the law of cause and effect, which is most remarkable, which says that for every effect there's a cause, and that if you institute the same courses as other successful people, you get the same results by the law of cause and effect. If you think the same way the job salespeople think, you get the same results the job salespeople get. It's not a miraculous thing. So we know this, that thoughts are causes and conditions are effects. If you change your thinking about yourself, about what you're doing, you actually change your results in that area. So what I've done is I've spent 25 years researching this, and I've trained now probably more than 1 million salespeople. And I've worked with salespeople, including some of the people here whose sales have gone up dramatically as a result of these self-image changes. There are 3 critical self-images that job salespeople have, and I'll explain them to you in order. Self-image number 1 is that they see themselves as a consultants, not salespeople. Remember, the way you see yourself determines how you think, how you walk, how you talk, how you act, how you perform, how you behave, and all excellent people see themselves as excellent people. All happy people see themselves as happy people. Even lucky people think of themselves as lucky people. Surprise? Surprise. So they are top salespeople, see themselves as consultants, not salespeople. Let me ask you a question. Do customers like salespeople? No. Why? Because salespeople represent people who are going to fast talk and manipulate and maneuver and try to talk them out of their hard-earned money and sell them things that don't work or that they don't want and can't use and can't afford, because everybody's had experiences with salespeople. But do people like consultants? Yes. Why? What is it that a consultant does? Why does a person call in a consultant in the first place? Because they have a problem. So what is a consultant? Really? Yes, a consultant is a problem solver. Everybody wants to improve their lives. Everybody wants their life to be better. And the bridge between where they are and where they want to go is usually a problem. So a consultant helps them solve problem so that they can move ahead more rapidly in their lives and work. So therefore we like consultants. Now job salespeople see themselves as consultants. And when you think of a consultant, what words pop into mind? What's the first word that pops into mind? A consultant is an expert. Exactly. What is an expert? An expert is somebody who knows their product code, knows it intimately. If on a job salesperson sells brochures, if on a job salesperson's sales brochures were destroyed, he could rewrite them all because he knows them all by heart. He knows the specifications and he knows the ins and outs and the different ways that his product or service can be used. He knows the industry that specializes in, and he knows how it works, where it costs and revenues come from. He knows the companies that he works with, and he spends a lot of time understanding their situations. A consultant is an expert. A consultant is extremely knowledgeable in their field, and the consultant takes the time, maybe weeks and months and years of working evenings and weekends to really be thoroughly knowledgeable about what he does. And you know something within 30 seconds of meeting a client or a customer or a prospect. The prospect knows whether he's dealing with a job salesperson or an average salesperson, because the job salesperson is totally different from the average. The job salesperson, how does a consultant consult? By the way, perfect ask questions. The job salesperson, the job consultant asks very good questions and listens very closely to the answers and thinks and reflects the answers back and makes notes and compares the notes and results of their conversation with the client. So the client gets the feeling that this person has the capacity to really help me do something that's important to me. And another characteristic of top consultants is that they're very empathetic with their clients. They're very sensitive to their clients. They listen very closely to what the clients say, and their characteristics is that they are advisors to their clients. They see themselves as advisors, they see themselves as counselors, they see themselves as helpers, teachers, friends. They don't see themselves as salespeople. And wonderfully enough, if you treat yourself as a consultant, you say this to your customer. You say, Mr. Customer, I don't really see myself as a salesperson. I see myself as a consultant. My reason for being here today is to ask you a few questions and see if there isn't some way that my company can help you and your company and family achieve some of your goals. But I'm really not here to sell you anything. I just want to ask you a few questions and see if I can help you. That way of approaching customers puts you in a separate category from other salespeople. And when you see yourself as a consultant, you walk and talk and act and treat yourself differently, and they treat you differently as well. They say, well, consultant, you consultant, sit right here next to my desk, and salespeople sit out in the waiting room. I'll get you a cup of coffee and we'll get them a glass of water. I'll take you out to lunch and I'll tell him I can't see him today. Come back another time. The second self-image that top salespeople have is that they see themselves as doctors of selling. They see themselves as professionals. They have their own libraries. They study their profession thoroughly. They realize that as a top sales professional, they can make more than a doctor can make. They can make it far faster. A doctor has to spend 10, 12, 13 years getting to the point of high income. An excellent salesperson can get there in 1 year, sometimes in 3 months. So they see themselves as professionals.